Yeah. Wow. So then decided...
So obviously when the floor closed, I was working a Royal Albert Building labouring, and I was a little bit like, I can't hump and dump shit. I used to work on a stock exchange, don't you know? But I was getting in trouble a lot, fighting in towns, in pubs and clubs, and I knew that I was going to amount to nothing. And I'd always been interested in art. My granddad was in a parasite.
What age were you at this point?
17.
Yeah.
17. So I knew that my life was going to amount to nothing. I had no direction, no qualifications. I didn't even do my GCSEs, even though my CV says I got 5 GCSEs A to C. Never sat my GCSEs, and I was going nowhere. So I've always been interested in the army. So I just thought one day, fuck it. If you don't do this, you're either going to end up in prison or you're going to amount to fuck all. So I went to the careers office down the Strand and joined the army. Yeah, and yeah, it was a long process because you have to go and do obviously your pre-selection and all that sort of stuff. But when I'd done a pre-selection, so the pre-selections, you got to do a few tests, like a mile and a half run in a certain time, so many press ups, so many sit ups, and just show that you haven't got big records or anything, but just show that you are fit enough to start training, that you're not going to turn up and be an absolute sack of shit, that you're off. Yeah, they can mould you into what they want.
Yeah.
When I came back, by now my mum had moved out and moved in with her boyfriend that she met in one of the rehabs that she went to, and I called the phone to say, so he picked up the phone, Steve, and I said, I was with mum there. He said, oh no, she's not here. I said, all right, no worries, put the phone down. And then I went to bed, and it was the next morning he turned up at my house. My dad was on shift, knocked on the door and said, look, your mum's in hospital. She had a fit, blah, blah, blah. She's in hospital. She's in St Thomas's. So I was like, right, okay. So I shot up there and was in intensive care. And she was in a bad way. Like she'd been, you can tell that she'd been bashed up. Cuts and bruises everywhere and that. But then, you got, in intensive care, I was just a bit, I was a bit like a rabbit in the headlights then.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know what was going on. So I was just sort of got through it. I told my dad about the situation, and then it was a Thursday or no, it was a Friday. I went to the hospital to see my mum, and intensive care, they have a nurse all the time. And I said to her, excuse me, madam. I said, but why is she in this state she's in? Like, what happened? And she said to me, when you've got cirrhosis of the liver and your liver's backing up, you do bleed, bruise and cut easily. Mm-hmm. She went, but not to this extent. And she said, and on the report here, when the ambulance turned up, they called the police because they felt the police needed to